Hello， 大家好，我係 Amy， 歡迎大家返嚟我嘅 channel。今日我想同你哋試一樣新嘢，就係我用 AI 幫我生成咗一本英文圖書嘅內容簡介。但重點呢就唔係本書自己，而係我想俾大家睇下，如果用 AI 去將一本書變成一條影片，個效果會係點？而 AI 可唔可以講故事講到有靈魂、有情感呢？一陣間呢我就會播俾大家睇下。大家準備好未啊？ Let's go!
All right, so get this. Imagine your job is to live in the coolest treehouse on the planet, and your only task is to make books. Sounds pretty awesome, right? Well, today we are climbing into the wild, wild world of the 13-story treehouse. And believe me, in this place, writing a book and surviving an insane adventure are basically the same thing.
No, I'm serious. Just think about that for a minute. What if your home wasn't just, a place to sleep? What if it was the most amazing playground you could ever imagine? That's the big question this book asks, and it just pulls you right into this incredible world.
Okay, so let's take a little tour of this so-called treehouse. And I say so-called because, honestly, that word doesn't even begin to do this place justice. Just look at this. We're talking 13 stories of pure, unfiltered fun. You've got a bowling alley, a see-through swimming pool, and a tank of man-eating sharks, for security. But the best part, my absolute favorite, is the marshmallow machine. It literally follows you around and shoots marshmallows straight into your mouth whenever you want. How cool is that? It's genius. So, who gets to live in a place like this? Well, you've got Andy and Terry. Andy's the writer. He's the one trying to keep things on track, trying to actually get some work done. And then you've got Terry. He's the illustrator, and he is just pure chaos, a walking, talking fun machine. Their whole job is to make books together. And well, you can probably guess that this combo is the perfect recipe for fun and a whole lot of trouble.
Right, but all this fun comes with a pretty big problem. When you live in the coolest place on Earth, it's kind of hard to, actually get any work done.
And this is where the real story gets going. Their publisher, a guy with the fantastic name of Mr. Big Nose, he's furious. They are super behind schedule, so he lays down the law. Get this book done by 5 p.m. tomorrow, or else.
Yeah, and the stakes are super high here. If they don't hit that deadline, they're fired. And they'll get sent back to their old, awful job at the monkey house. And believe me, you do not want to go back to the monkey house. So the pressure is definitely on.
Okay, so the clock is ticking. You'd think they'd lock themselves in and get right to work, right? Nope. In a place like this, focus is pretty much impossible. And their day is about to get completely, ridiculously out of hand.
It just snowballs. It's like a recipe for total mayhem. First, you've got a flying cat. Okay. Then a sea monster shows up, and just when you think it can't get any crazier, bam! A full-on monkey invasion. It's just a perfect storm of chaos.
So where does this all start? Well, Terry gets this brilliant idea to paint their neighbor's cat yellow. Why would he do that? To turn her into a canary, obviously. And the absolute craziest thing is, it works! The cat grows wings and just flies away. She's a catnary now. And just like that, problem number 1 is officially underway.
Okay, next up, a package of sea monkeys arrives. But this is Terry we're talking about, so of course he's too impatient to follow the directions. He ends up hatching what looks like a mermaid. He falls madly in love, of course, but Andy's a bit more suspicious, and for good reason. It turns out she's actually a giant, terrifying sea monster that wants to eat them both. They just barely get away.
So, have they learned their lesson? Absolutely not. Terry tries to order more sea monkeys, but there's a mix-up, and instead, an entire army of real, actual monkeys shows up and starts tearing the treehouse apart. So in a stroke of genius, they find a giant banana they happen to have, use it to hypnotize the monkeys, and then launch them all away with a catapult. Problem solved. Or is it?
Yeah, not so fast. See, by getting rid of one problem, they accidentally created a much, much bigger one.
Remember that giant banana they catapulted into the sky? Well, something else found it.
And that something is a giant gorilla. It followed the smell of the banana all the way back to their treehouse. And let me tell you, he is not happy that his snack is gone.
The gorilla just goes berserk, shaking the entire treehouse. I mean, the whole place is rattling and breaking apart. They're trapped. It really feels like this is it. This is, without a doubt, the biggest, scariest problem they've faced all day.
But this is where the story gets so clever. Just when you think it's all over, help comes flying in from out of nowhere. And guess who it is? It's Silky, the catenary from the very start of the day. And she didn't come alone. She brought a whole squadron of flying cats with her. They team up on the gorilla and carry him away. Isn't that amazing? The very first crazy distraction of the day ends up being the thing that saves them.
Whew. Okay, so the gorilla's gone, they're safe, everything's fine. Except it's not. Because they are right back where they started. The deadline is breathing down their necks, and they still have absolutely no book.
I mean, seriously, what would you do? The clock is ticking down to 0, Mr. Big Nose is literally on his way over, and all you've managed to write is Once Upon a Time. How on earth do you create an entire book out of nothing after a day like this?
And then it happens. That classic light bulb moment. The big idea that changes everything. And you know who has it? Terry, the guy who caused all the chaos in the first place.
And that's when it hits them. Their problem is actually their solution. Why are they trying to invent some crazy fantasy story when they just lived one? The flying cat, the sea monster, the monkey invasion, the giant gorilla, all of it. That's the story.
You know, there's actually a cool name for this trick. It's called a meta-story. It's basically a story about a story. The characters in the book, Andy and Terry, end up creating the very same book that you, the reader, are holding in your hands. Pretty clever, right? So that's exactly what they do. They just start writing and drawing everything that happened as fast as they can, page after page. They are scrambling, but they manage to finish literally seconds before Mr. Big Nose walks in. And just like that, against all odds, they hand in the book right on time.
So, what's the big idea here? What can you take away from all this craziness? Well, it's more than just a funny story about a treehouse, right? It's really a story about creativity. It shows you how a little bit of wild imagination can actually solve huge problems. But I think the coolest message is that sometimes all those things that seem like distractions, they can end up being the best part of your story. And that's a really great point to make if you're, say, talking about a book you love in an interview.
And really, that's the final thought this book leaves you with. Behind all the laughs and the silliness, there's this really powerful idea. It kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What if all the crazy, unexpected things that happen in your life, what if they aren't actually stopping you from telling your story? What if they are your story?
睇完呢條用 AI 生成嘅 video 呢，其實我覺得有幾樣嘢係可以改善嘅。第一，內容雖然係有條理，但係有啲位呢就講得比較概括。如果我哋想用佢嚟做教學或者認真睇書嘅話呢，可能要自己再加返一啲例子同埋解說，先至夠深入。第二，畫面同埋旁白呢其實都幾順眼㗎，不過始終係 AI 自動生成配圖，有時同重點未必100% match。加上如果你細心留意嘅話呢，佢嘅文字同埋嗰個 graphic layout 呢，其實有好多時呢都有重疊咗嘅地方，變咗有啲文字呢就被啲圖呢遮住咗，咁就睇得唔係咁清楚。第三呢，就係準確度嘅問題，官方其實都有提過 video overview 呢可能都有錯漏嘅，所以真正要用嚟學嘢或者做決定之前，最好都係配合返文字總結同埋原文去 check 一 check 就會比較好啦。好啦，今日講住咁多先，咁希望大家呢，如果鍾意我嘅 channel 呢，就記得撳 subscribe 訂閱我嘅頻道。我哋下一條片再見。